Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and it's episode number 4, and our second attempt here with the Fire Fantasy mod. After trying to create a team, and that debacle, we have gone into one of the created teams, but the lowest created team at the F1 level, which is Manor. So instead of 10 constructors, we have 12. And we are taking that 12th, which is the return of the Manor Marusha team. And let's see, how are we looking here? 739. That is not much of an edge, but it's still a little bit. Okay, so we're all set. Let's get into it. We've got a 57 lap race. We're heading to Tondela for round 4 of 16 in this season's championship. I'm kind of noticing from my F1 2019 series, even I am starting to feel the calendar, the way the calendar is growing and growing and growing. It's almost nice that this game is still, it doesn't have all of the tracks, and they're not quite the real tracks. They're always varied a little bit. But 16 is a little bit nicer than what was just announced as next year's 22 record-setting race calendar. That is a lot, and you really do begin to feel it more and more as time goes on. So was that 50? Was that 57? Oh gosh, I already forgot 57. Well, that'll definitely make it. I mean, 30 each is 60, so that's easily. And the ultras aren't going anywhere. So we are definitely in a one-stopper with the Super Softs for the race. Let's go ahead and get out into practice, get things going. Oh, beautiful. Both cars on the race trim. I appreciate that as well. Alright, let's get these guys around and run a few setup laps. Head back into the garage here. Oh no, the Renault and Van Dorn are eating the same space. Whoa! Okay, we just lucked out. Our initial, completely unchanged. 96%. Okay. I'll take it. No complaints here. Oh, this is going to be even easier for Vern, who's at 97. Had to one-up his teammate, apparently. And just a little bit of downforce here. There we go. And away we go. Okay, we've got Van Dorn in at 99%, so we can give him a long run, go get those bonuses. Vern might not be there just yet, 98%. He is getting closer, but we did lose. Try it this way. And I think that is also going to be close enough that we can make the long run. We'll take a look later. But here we go. We're going to speed things up and go vroom vroom for a little while. I finally took the chance, and I'm amazed that it took me this long. But I finally took the chance to look through my two drivers and really give a direct comparison to them as I've been recording for this. You don't want to sit on menu screens terribly long. It gets pretty boring to the viewer on that. By the way, looking at the tires, then they are pretty much staying straight on neutral. You can see ever so slightly warming up beyond the middle, which isn't great, but still, that's fairly neutral. They can run a long time, and I like that. I don't like having to tweak it constantly as we approach our triple bonus. There it is. Bring them both in. Okay, let's go back and see. 99%, so we're good. And let's go ahead and put on the Ultras so we have our qualifying tire ready to go. And then here comes Vern. And nice, 6 purple dinosaurs. We're still 98% though. Wonder if the speed balance needed to go back the other way. You know what? 98% is good enough. I'm not going to fight for that one. Alright, so we're going to send both drivers out on a comfortable qualifying lap. They're not going to push too hard here. But it is still a low fuel run on the quick tire. And you can see, even with that, we're still at the bottom. Vern does go faster than Felipe Massa there, so we're not the slowest. I like that. Such a relief after that last season we ran. And after so many years building up from the bottom tier to the top tier on the previous series, it was such a shame to see where we ended up. Because we had grown. It was all coming along. And then I finally just reset. The views 70 episodes in was down. And the drivers and the teams and the mod we were using, none of it added up, fit the situation anymore. So it was definitely time for a change. But then last season was so demoralizing to be anywhere between 6 and 9 seconds off the back. I mean, you got to feel for Williams and how lonely it gets back there. But we were lonely. We were so slow, it was like in a go-kart trying to keep up with a Formula 1 car. Or more realistically, we were driving an F2 or an F3 car. If that, I think, is maybe a more realistic comparison. But there you go. Vern stays ahead of Massa even without the push, though only slightly. But when you actually add in a push, I'm sure we could go faster. We're still slow. Tactically, that's where we make up what we lose. We still have the slowest car. But it's getting better. We're getting there. It's going to happen. Ultras, we only got to the level 2 bonus. We didn't make it all the way to level 3. But when you're qualifying and you're only talking about 1 or 2 grid spots at the very, very back, really not a big deal. Alright, so Van Doren, let's go give him a run. And around that corner, attack, brake, attack, brake. Yeah, come on, keep some pace through here. It's really hard to get much pace through all of this. Like the tire temps haven't come up at all. Brake temps are the only thing that have even emerged. Little chicane. Attack. Come on, come on. Get some heat in there. Get some heat in there. Braking zone. Braking zone. Give me a little more. Give me a little more. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Ah. Wow, this is really hard to get the heat you need into this thing. Tire temp's perfect, but the brakes massively overheated. Vern, I think I need to go the opposite direction. I need to really heat up those tires early on and then try to cool the brakes over time. That's what we'll try as he gets his lap started. Let's go ahead and get Vern out there as well. We'll try to keep an eye on Van Doren's lap time while we're at it. So I'm going to try to attack here early on to get some temperature into those tires right off the bat. There you go. See, this is much better now because now we can run the straight and have that temperature we need. And now it'll be more about cooling off. Okay, yeah, that's much closer. Van Doren, woo! Oh no. Yay! Hooray! He's in first place. Okay, he's not in first place. Okay, he's in last place. So, you know. Massa is slower though. Vern comes across the line and one-ups his teammate and splits Kubica. So hey, we are not in last place. I like it. 4.5 minutes left. How are we doing on the track? Grip coming up. I don't think we have enough time to get 3 runs. Time is 1:30, which means you need about 2 minutes plus to run a lap. So we're going to try to bring both guys out late on. I will manage Van Doren again. I will give Vern the auto, and we'll go at about 2.5 minutes. So let's speed up till that point. Okay, I want to stagger a little bit. So let's get Vern out first this time. Fresh tires. And then, you know, let's wait a couple more seconds. There we go. Fresh tires. And we're going to put Vern on auto. Now let's see if we can't help Van Doren improve again. We're going to follow the strategy we used with Vern as it worked much, much better. Anyway, I had a chance to look at these drivers a lot more closely, and Van Doren has a really, really bad trait that hurts him that doesn't even show up in his overall driver rating. He has a first lap I suck kind of trait. I don't know exactly what it's called off the top of my head. I did not memorize that, did not retain that, but it is, that's not good. Hey, look, the AI did much better than I. Normally it's the opposite way, but this time I just struggled to maintain that. So, I'd imagine Vern, better form than Van Doren, might be a little better off here. Anyway, so Van Doren has like a -4 to all of his stats on the first lap. That's rough. Time's up. Both guys are active. Both of them have gone white so far, so they have not improved their times through both sectors. So they are both off the pace, looking like they will not improve. Kubica goes faster, ends the split, so we are 22nd, 23rd now. Massa already on the in lap. Vern does not improve his time. Van Doren does not improve his time. So that sucks. At least we're not last, I guess. Bottas goes fastest here in the session. Speaking of Bottas in real life, just announced last week anyway. Time of the recording, I have not seen Spa yet. The race has not happened yet. Recording this a handful of days ahead of time. So at this point, we're just coming out of the summer break, and it's just been announced that Valtteri Bottas has retained his seat. He has signed his option for next season. So Bottas remains with Mercedes. Ocon has been released by Mercedes as they could not give him a seat for a second year in a row. And Ocon is going to Renault. And it is Hülkenberg on the way out. All assumptions being made right now point Hülkenberg in the direction of Romain Grosjean's seat at Haas. But at least at the time of recording, nothing has been finalized in that regard. From hearing Gunther Steiner at FP1 in Spa, so first practice session there, you would think from what he mentioned that he wants to sign Hülkenberg and that he wants to do so as soon as possible. And then when Hülkenberg was interviewed pre-FP1, he was a little more coy on that subject, but at the same time, there was kind of a hint of it sounds like they're already in discussion. It sounds like Haas and Hülkenberg are talking. How far those talks have progressed, whether they're already into some sort of negotiation over a contract, it's hard to say. But it certainly sounds like the conversation has already begun. So Bottas takes Q1 and Q3, which is enough to get on pole over teammate Lewis Hamilton. Vettel, Leclerc on row 2, Verstappen, Gasly row 3. Gasly still in the Red Bull seat here. And in this game, with the driver capabilities, Daniel Ricciardo always elevating the Renault to best of the rest, at least in terms of qualifying, as he's a great driver in real life too, but he seems a little OP in game. If we're talking about real life ratings, he's absolutely the driver that the game thinks he is. But the gap between him and the other drivers, I think, is a little bit embellished. Meaning, in real life, yeah, he's a great driver. But he's not doing what like Russell and Kubica are doing, where it's a second a lap. Practice, qualifying, race. Almost a second a lap between them. Or Gasly, getting lapped by Verstappen a couple times. Ricciardo is not doing that to Hülkenberg, and they've actually been pretty competitive throughout the season. Ricciardo looks the stronger of the pair, but only slightly. Hülkenberg's a good driver. And that's kind of the point. Slightly. While in game, there's nothing slight about it. He's massively favored compared to other drivers. Okay, I was correct on the 57 laps. My brain did serve me well. Thank you, brain. I appreciate it. Alright, well, we are ready to go racing here in Tondela in Portugal. And let's not delay any further. Let's get to it. I'm going to put up 5 red lights and we're going to go racing. Good thing for us is we are not locked into used ultras that are not going to last. That's creating an extra pit stop for all those guys. These guys all coming out on the soft instead of the super soft. Those sprays in there, they're going to have to stop, and a lot of them are even slightly used. So Van Dorn expected to be slow off the line, but he gets a good run on his teammate Vern. Always a little tough to tell when both of the modded teams have a blue and orange scheme. Blue, orange, and white scheme. Blue, orange, white, and black scheme. You can see the Alpine there beside us. Very similar. When you get a little tighter here, you could see the difference as our stripe is down the middle of the car, while theirs is down the back end, diagonally. Alright, so we do not want these tires to heat up too much, and I know that in the long term they certainly will, so I'm going to do that, and we're going to go. Bottas did not get the start that he wanted, and by the end of the first lap, it is Lewis Hamilton in the race lead, and already 2.5 seconds clear of Sebastian Vettel here in P2. Bottas, after a very slow start, drops to P3. He's right there on Vettel here early on, and having a look. He's having a look around the outside. Bottas cannot make it stick though, but he is still all over Vettel like white on rice. And he's got him here. And now Verstappen having a look as well, taking advantage of that battle for position. So it's Max in 4th. Leclerc has closed the gap in 5th after he had dropped back initially. And then no sight of the other Red Bull man, so that's fairly realistic to real life. Down in the midfield, here is Ricardo, best of the rest in P6. It's Perez in P7. Hulkenberg, we see a big battle here and lots of lockups that included Jean-Eric Verne in the back end of the field. That was one car after another. The guys behind locking up. Verne at the tail end of that. Verne moving around Van Dorn for 23rd. It's Hulkenberg in 8th behind Perez. He's very close there. Magnussen is the one just behind that. Then it's Pierre Gasly. Gasly, terrible start to this race, all the way down to P10, and now being challenged by Kimi Räikkönen in the Alpha. He has a look right, he has a look left. Neither one can stick. He's going to have another glance to the left here. He's going to tuck back in for the time being. Räikkönen again closing him back up as we come around the final turn and through the start-finish straight. And Räikkönen gets so close he ends up having to lock up to not hit Gasly in the gearbox. Stroll is behind, benefiting from this battle, closing the gap there. And that's your 12 cars on the Ultras. They are all right there. Van Dorn and Verne right now battling for 23rd and 24th. Sainz is best of the non-Q3 cars. Kvyat behind him. Then Norris, Grosjean. Gio and Albon battling for 17th. Alonso closing in 19th. There's Russell, 20th. Massa, after a good start, up to 21st. Kubica, 22nd. And we are still there. We are still in contact, but we are the last 2 cars on the grid right now. So Van Dorn and Verne battling it out for 23rd. Position has changed hands numerous times. Meanwhile, Bottas around Vettel and 5 seconds just about behind Hamilton. Vettel now down by 8 seconds to the Mercedes. So Mercedes showing a little bit of dominance. I think this back straight that we're in right now, minor chicane, and then another long straight, that plays into having a lot of horsepower. Something my team does not. We have the weakest engine on the grid, and it's really showing on a track like this, as even though we're staying close, we're definitely not there. And our two drivers have got enough pace to battle each other, but they don't have enough pace to battle everyone else. And we're just drifted back ever so slightly. It's 1.2 seconds now. And them battling each other is really the only thing keeping us close. At the moment, it's really just Mercedes pulling away. Vettel a little bit. Verstappen, Leclerc a little bit. But otherwise, the field is still very, very tight throughout all of it. I mean, the double backstretch, Ricciardo had just gone through as we got onto it. So after 5.5 laps, it's staying pretty compact. And amazingly, no crash, no investigations, no drive-thrus, no pit stops. We've had a clean first 6 laps of this race. And it's possible. That's the first time that's happened this season. And certainly, if we're comparing last season, would be one of the first times. Meanwhile, here is Kubica, and oh wow, look at that. I've overheated the tires slightly, even though... Oi! Van Dorn just crashed! Right in front of our eyes, Van Dorn just crashed. I wonder if Kubica hit him. Van Dorn is out of the race. He had Kubica on his left rear as he was completing the pass, and then all of a sudden he's off the track on a straightaway. As I'm trying to drop it down to drive conservatively, and he was only driving normal. It's not like he was pushed. The tires were a little hot, but that's not a reason to crash. But that is terrible for us, as Stoffel Van Dorn has crashed out early in this race and will finish in last place, unfortunately. I'm going to start to speed things up, though. We're going to let some time go by. Even dropping to conserve, we're not fixing the heating issue at the moment. And it's heating up a lot faster with the engine mode turned up. So it's still not really cooling off very much at all here on conserve. I can see pit stops coming fairly soon. Like Magnussen looks like he's going to pit soon. Stroll looks like he'll pit soon. So we're just a couple laps away on that. It'll be interesting to see what they do. If they go for the soft and try to go all the way to the end on the one stopper, or will they go for another set of ultras and try to go for the track positioning on that, the speed? Will they go to the super soft and then pit one more time later? Go back to the ultras then when the track's opened up a little bit more, the gaps are bit bigger? Either way, we're not showing it terribly well zoomed in, but you can see we're still close. Massa just 1.2 seconds ahead. Kubica just half second in front of him. Same to Alonso. Just a couple seconds to George Russell. And here come the pit stops. So Magnussen has already pit. Gasly and Stroll just pit. They didn't get back to us though, so they got in and out fairly quickly. Really didn't lose a lot of time. But now that I think about it, it's a fairly long track. It's a 90-second lap. We are already 1 minute behind. And Kubica just crashed out. Kubica out of this race. Just local yellow. And we're up to 22nd. And that's one Williams behind. That's always important. Massa, Alonso, and Russell are the ones I'm going to look to beat the rest of the way for this race. Go ahead and turn the engine mode back up. I'm going to keep it on conserve otherwise. Mercedes, Ferrari pitting. Bottas coming out on the softs. See, Raikkonen, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly all out on another set of ultras. Verstappen comes out on the softs. So Bottas looks like he's going to go to the end of the race. He's in third place. Verstappen, 15 seconds behind him, but on a quicker tire. So will he close that gap down? He's probably going to have to stop again. I don't think he's going to get 40 laps out of those tires. I think at most they're going to get about 35. Hulkenberg stops, puts on the softs. He's good to go to the end. Perez comes out on the ultras. He will have to pit again fairly soon. I don't think the ultras are the way to go. And super softs maybe. Soft, sure. Especially if you're like Mercedes. I think Hamilton should come out on the softs. I think Vettel should be a little bit more of a risk taker. Maybe go for a two-stopper. Otherwise, he's got no hope. He's 11 seconds down now. So those guys are ready to come in. Speaking of, let's take a look. Oh, they're both pitting. Hamilton pits and Vettel pits, and they both come out on the ultras. And Bottas goes back ahead of Vettel. 4.5 seconds is the gap. Bottas could win this race. Yeah, look how far back Verstappen is in fourth place. That's a pretty big gap now. And Leclerc, he's good to go to the end. It's entirely possible that he could be on the podium if things work out. But that's a pretty big gap. Like, I don't think he's going to get ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton's going to be just fine. Vettel, maybe. Maybe. It's already a 20-second gap. Okay. Now those 12 drivers have all pit now, with a majority of them coming back out on another set of ultra softs. Sainz has yet to pit. He started the race with these used ones. Gio, he's going to pit fairly soon. His tires have not lasted very well at all. I'm going to get lapped soon, so I'm going to get this time back. But let's go neutral for a little bit as we've got this down into a bit of a happy zone. I will get 1 lap worth of fuel back fairly soon. Let's see. There's where I am. There's Hamilton, and he's coming pretty quick. He will lap us. You can see just how big the gap from 18th to 22nd is. Things have definitely opened up, but there's still not major gaps. But bottom line is we're slower. Massa is 3.5 seconds ahead now. 5 seconds to Alonso. Russell another 4. Gio is going to pit soon. I should be ahead of him at least for a little while. And I'll be curious to see what he comes out on, because at this point, Super Softs, he's not making 34 more laps if he's only made 23 now, and he's pitting. He is pitting. What is he going to come out on? He comes out on the softs. So Giovinazzi comes out on the softs. He comes out in front of us. It's a little surprising that he's actually still in front of us, but there he is. We're about 3/4 of a straight behind. We have been lapped now, by the way. And wow, those tires heated back up very quickly. So let's turn that back up for a little while. Bottas keeping the gap fairly well to Hamilton. He's still only 7.5 seconds down, even though he's on the softs. versus the Ultra. Vettel's clawed back a little bit of time on this run. Ricciardo staying very close to Leclerc. Sainz still has not pit. Gasly's going to pit again soon. He's been really harsh on these tires. Kvyat should be pitting any moment now. Yep, he's coming in this lap. And he's going to come back out 3 positions down from where he went in P14. Comes out on softs. He'll be good to go till the end of the race. Massa should be pitting pretty soon, and we will definitely get a position for that one, as we're only 4 seconds down. But, of course, we're going to have to pit before too long. Sainz is pitting. He's coming out on the Ultra Softs with 30 laps left to go. And that was softs that he was on. There you go. Massa does his pit. He comes out behind. Vern has gone ahead. 7 seconds clear. It's really not taking that long to do a pit stop. He is on the super softs. Right now, we are just about halfway. Next lap, we will be halfway. Raikkonen and Stroll both pitting. Raikkonen's got an issue. Some sort of mechanical that is taking extra time. And it's enough so that we've gone ahead. And we are now in P20. Let's go back to neutral for a little bit. We're going to pit here fairly soon. We're at 27% on the tire wear. We're past halfway. But every lap we get now is more of the tire wear that we'll have left on that next stint. So I don't mind waiting a little bit longer here. I think we're going to go one more lap around. Coming up on pit road now, but I want to take one more. We're setting new personal bests at the moment. There you go. That was our quickest lap. And I said they could definitely make 30. Well, it's lap 31, but for us, it's lap 30. We've been lapped. So they've done exactly what I expected them to do. Okay, we're starting to overheat. Let's go ahead and attack, though. Just going to attack the last little bit of this lap. There you go. And we're in. It's a good stop. It's a quick stop. And we are back out right behind Kimi Raikkonen, who's already stopped twice in this race. So Raikkonen just ahead of us there. 1 second. Massa is down to 4.5 seconds. We've gained a half second on him. Russell has already stopped. He's 18 seconds ahead now, though, so it's going to be difficult to beat any of those guys. Alonso will pit soon. Albon will pit very soon. It's down to 25% now. Grosjean at 20%. Still not pitting. He just passed pit road. 19% now. He's going to fall off the cliff, and this could be a very short lap for him. Imagine he's pushing really hard. 18%. His tire wear is definitely no joke. 17%. And he's still going. He's taken at least one more lap around. Amazingly, he only lost 1/4 of a second that lap. I would imagine now below 15%. It's got to just go up higher and higher, right? There you go. He's going to pit this lap. He's still less than 1/10 of a second off the pace. Comes back out in P13. Ricciardo, Perez getting pretty close, 22%. Making a move around us, though, lapping us. But there you go. You can see how far gone his tires are that Vern was able to re-overtake him, at least temporarily. Ricardo's going to pit this time. Albon already in and has a problem. So Albon taking his time in the pits. Just now coming back out. And Vern has gotten around, but it's only by 3 seconds. Only 3 seconds ahead. That was Albon's first stop of the race. And he, like us, are good to go to the end. It's going to be difficult to stay ahead of the Toro Rosso, though, as he's definitely got some more pace than we do. Alonso should be pitting here real soon. 15% now. He'll pit this lap. I'm not sure how his pace is good at 14%, but apparently it is. He is fixing a problem. Fixing a problem. So he's having a mechanical. We've gone by. And he's coming out on the Ultra Sauce. He's going to have to pit again. Those are not going to go the distance. And Raikkonen just crashed. So Raikkonen has crashed. He is out of this race. So at the moment, we are now back up to P20. Ricardo ready to lap us after a second stop. Vettel has made a second stop. Hamilton has made a second stop. And they are again on the Ultra Soft. Bottas, still on those soft tires. And still roughly the same distance behind he was last time we checked on him, close to 20 laps ago. Not convinced that those Ultras will make it to the end. Sainz is pitting. Okay, we've got a little bit of fuel to burn. How are we looking on being lapped? There's Hamilton. We are about a half a lap behind with only 15 to go. So I do not think we're going to be lapped a second time. So the fuel we have right now in comparison is the fuel we should have at the end. By the way, Alonso, 11 seconds down. Albon has gone around and is 6 seconds to the clear, so he's definitely faster. Massa, 8 seconds ahead. We've been between 5 and 8 seconds behind Massa the entire race, ever since the start. Russell gap has opened up a bit further. It was 20. It's now closing in on a 30-second gap. So Massa still in reach. Albon, a little too fast, probably going to drive away from us unless he has problems. Alonso, 10 seconds behind on Ultras. If he does pit again, he will definitely not beat us. If he's able to go the distance on those Ultras, he might still catch us. Gap's already down by 2 seconds. As we allow Gasly to go through. Gasly's still only in P8. So we still got 2 cars, and Ricardo and Perez sandwiching him from the other members of the Big Six. So let's go check in with the front again. So it's Hamilton in the race lead, about to lap Lando Norris, who sits in 12th place. It's Bottas in second, over 11 seconds behind. But look who has closed him down. Here is Vettel. Vettel's on the Ultras. Bottas is on very, very used softs, so Vettel's got the pace. Vettel might get around, but can he go 10 whole laps? And without pitting or without losing the pace? He's already trying to cool tires right now. Still a second and a half behind. The performance boost may run out pretty soon. Verstappen's not going to make it the distance. He will pit soon. He's down to 12%. He's pitting this lap. And he is not that far in front of Leclerc, but that's the only position he'll lose. There you go, down to P5. Leclerc has just gone around. Leclerc will make it the distance, I think. 27%. It's close. Ricardo, he's looking good. He'll go the distance from P6. Perez, P7. I don't think he's going to make it on that. Verstappen on the Ultras will make it now. Gasly there, P8. He's coming as he goes around. Albon, his replacement in real life. Sainz, P9. Hulkenberg, P10. Magnussen, P11. Will those two be teammates soon in real life? Could happen. Norris, P12. Grosjean. Kvyat. Stroll. These guys are all outside of the points. Giovinazzi. Russell. He's having a good race here. Albon just got around Massa up into P18. There's Massa just behind him. Oh, and Massa spins! Massa spins. And we've gone ahead. We are up into P19. We got that just in time. Massa spins out on course there. Loses a position to us. That moves Vern up into P19. Alonso still in P21. He has closed the gap. It's 3 seconds now, but those tires are already down to 40%. So will they have enough to get through these final 6 laps? Will they have enough to make a pass and not completely fall off the cliff before the end of the race? It's going to be close. And meanwhile, Massa, who was only 8 seconds ahead of us to begin with, pace-wise, very small difference between him and us. There's a good chance we can hold him off, especially when he's down to 17% on the tires. So 19th, looking like a distinct possibility for this one. Gasly pits. Drops to 9th. Hamilton, Vettel, Perez, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Norris, Kvyat, all could still pit. Giovinazzi pitting now. Stroll just pit. Stroll's 3rd pit. Massa could still pit. Alonso has gone around Massa. And the gap is 4.5 seconds. Massa pits. Drops to last, so he pits. He's too far back now. He will not catch us during these last few laps. Alonso, still a little bit of a concern, but still 5 seconds. He's only cut the gap in half over the last 15 laps, and he's only got a couple left to do it. And his tire wear is quite bad now. Hamilton down to 20%, but with just 2 laps remaining, I think he might hang on. We'll see. The AI makes weird decisions sometime. Vettel, 19%. Bottas in 3rd. Bottas pit again? What the heck? Okay, Bottas pit again, so he's in 3rd. On Ultra is chasing these guys down. That was a strange call. Thought he was good to go for the end of the race. Verstappen. Leclerc. Ricardo's definitely good to go. Perez struggling, 16%. It's the last lap of the race now. Nobody pit. So it's Hamilton, 12%. He is really off the pace. You can see Alonso passes Hamilton, unlaps himself. Yellow flag, sector 1. I don't know who it was, but Hamilton hangs on to win the race. All but the first 10 cars were lapped. Vettel has finished 2nd. Bottas passes Vettel just after the line. So Vettel hangs on for 2nd. Bottas takes 3rd. Verstappen 4th. Leclerc 5th. Ricardo. We are still battling, but we've opened the gap. So it's back out to 7 seconds. And we do hang on for 19th place. Not a great result by any means, any stretch of the word. But Vern at least does finish ahead of both Alpine cars. So we were not last place on the day. By the way, you may have noticed in race that the pictures, they're fixed. This was the only mod that I had on, but an old mod that was not on, that had been removed, didn't fully remove itself. Found it, was able to get it fully removed, and the pictures are now corrected. The pictures was the only thing it was affecting because the mod was only 4 pictures dating back to 2017. But with those finally removed, everything is in the correct place. So Hamilton takes the race win, Bottas takes second. Full points for them. Vettel demoted 23 places after a part was found to have broken the GMA rules. Vettel finishes in last place. He does pick up 2 points, however, for the fastest lap. But should you get those 2 points if you cheated? Questionable that. But it bumps us up a spot to 18th. Still not our best result, but those long straights, power-hungry straights in a car lacking in power, perfectly understandable. Kvyat moves up the order a little bit after that finish in terms of driver placings. That's not good for us, but the Toro Rossos were already ahead of us with Albon. We are still technically last place in the constructors, just not for this race. Alpine's 2 points. That hurts because that's a team that we can beat from time to time, but with an OP driver like Alonso, who can occasionally get more out of the car than the car can give, that'll happen. Vern is a good driver. Van Dorn, rating-wise here, actually not so much. Really? You get disappointing race after finishing in 18th. Meanwhile, nothing happens for Van Dorn, who did not finish the race. And technically was, 23rd. So we came 11th, that's right. The expected result is 10th. That's kind of rough. That hurts. That helps, though. A little bit of money in the coffers. Well, anyway, that's all the time that I have for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. And remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.